Hello.
Hello.
Hey,
Well,
How's it
Phillips
going?
here. Good. How are you?
We're good.
Oh, nothing. Am I the first one here?
Yep.
you are.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sweet. How are you guys?
We're all right.
Tired, but
He's tired. I'm not. I don't know.
I'm
I can't
always
be
tired.
tired when there's an interview. I'm like, I get excited. So
Yeah. What the heck, Chris?
I'm I'm old. Give me I'm old and I'm an hour ahead of Jess. So
this is true.
Mm. So let's wait. What time zone are you guys in?
I'm in Eastern, she's Central.
Okay, gotcha.
I am Central. I'm Wisconsin and he is New York.
Nashville's central as well. But
Which
we're
is kind of
like,
crazy because it's like I feel like it would be kind of further over. It would is half of Tennessee east.
yeah,
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I'm like, think that I remember that. There's like this fine line. Whoop.
yeah. We're right on the border, and it kind of sucks. I'll be honest, because
All
it's
right. We got Philip and Alex.
there they are.
Look at that glamour shot.
Yeah. Wow.
Hello, hello.
I
Hey,
clicked admit. There it goes. I think this is the most that we've had up on a screen, Chris.
I know. This is gonna strain our internet connection.
Making it difficult.
That's okay. We don't mind.
No.
Sorry about my cat. He is going crazy right now.
Knocking things off of counters and stuff.
No, he's just yapping. He's trying to get attention.
Um, they can do
Always,
that
though.
sometimes.
It's all
Cat
day.
cats always love me, but that's because I'm allergic. So they know I'm
Mm,
allergic and they're
yeah,
evil.
they can sense it. Alex, are you in? Are you? What's?
I'm not sure.
Yo, I see his icon.
I know. And then I had to, now I have
Oh,
two.
Now we got
Uh-oh.
two.
Not sure what's going on here.
There we go.
Hello.
hey.
I don't know why I have two, but can I get rid of that one?
Probably not. There's probably an audio connection only in a video.
Is it? Because it says I can remove, but I don't want to mess anything up.
Yeah, the other, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that other one's on my Mac Mini, and I guess my monitor doesn't have, uh, I don't know why I didn't think about it, but it doesn't have like video capabilities or,
So I could
Uh,
probably remove it.
yeah,
Yeah, you should be safe.
I'm on my phone on the other one, so.
Remove. Okay.
Beautiful.
Everything's good now. I was like, it was gonna bother me just having that there.
Sweet. All right, there we go. Well, what's up, guys?
Not much. We have a
It's,
snowstorm coming tomorrow, so
oh yeah, it's like raining pretty heavily right now, so I'm kind of scared that it's gonna, I guess it's not cold enough though for snow.
no, I think it's a low of 44 today.
Oh, thank God. I don't want any snow right now.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for that drop.
we got hit up here in Syracuse over the weekend. We got a foot of snow Saturday into Sunday.
Oh,
yeah, we're supposed to get 6 to 11 here, so yay.
Hmm.
Did you guys get snow on Christmas?
No,
Oh man, what is happening?
Green
right?
Christmas.
It was a
Green
greenish brown
Christmas.
Christmas, but I was okay with it. It doesn't happen very often.
Mhm.
We had like it was like the least or the second least snowiest December in Wisconsin,
Oh my
Hmm.
gosh.
which is crazy. In
Wisconsin.
history.
I've had Wisconsin cheese curds. They're pretty bomb.
Yes, they are. I mean, we are well known for our cheese.
Yeah, big fan. Big fan.
So yeah, thanks for coming on the pod. We're always
We're-
excited to have bands that we've honestly never heard of before and then finding out about them and being like, hey, you want to come talk?
We like being everyone's hidden little gem.
You are a hidden little gem for sure.
That or guilty pleasure. So
I could see that. I could see some macho guy or something weightlifting to your music at the gym or something. And that's his guilty pleasure.
that's what Gavin has deemed us sad music you can work out to.
Ah,
Which like it's not that sad, but I can get it.
I'll give it
I
a try tomorrow.
Yeah, try it out.
think one of my favorite playlists that we're on that does really well for Love to Hate You is songs for white people to get lit to or something.
Yeah,
Oh.
and it's
Wow.
it's a picture. I don't know if you know what the picture is, but it's a picture. It's such an obscure reference of a white girl in the music video for Friday by Rebecca Black.
oh gosh.
It
was pretty-
There we go. The internet has spoken.
I'm gonna have to look up this playlist just so I can see it. Is it on
Oh
Spotify?
gosh.
Yes.
Yeah,
Of course it is. I feel like most people listen on Spotify nowadays.
Yeah, I think the playlists are just they've just done such a good job at the interface and like even though, all musicians are like like torn between them, but I love Apple, but I think Apple Music they haven't really like done a good job at trying to like bring indie artists in. So
Right.
but they pay more, but other than that, I mean like you're still gonna get more followers from Spotify pushing that.
For
so.
sure. For sure. Spotify definitely advertises better too. So, and you pop up on random playlists.
Exactly.
We love checking on those. Philip's the king of our Spotify for artists
Yeah.
analytics there.
Oh yeah, every single day I annoy myself in the morning and where are we at? How can we do better? All that fun business stuff that the backbone of any great band, I will say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
crunching the numbers.
Number cruncher.
All right. Well, let's get this started then.
Cool.
The normal question that everyone always asks is, please introduce yourselves and the role you play in the band so that everyone listening knows who you are and what you play or do.
Well, I'll start. My name's Alex, and I sing and play guitar. And yeah, I don't know if that's it.
Next.
I'm Philip, and I am the drummer / background vocals.
I'm Gavin. I play synth and guitar and also background vocals. And I was also going to throw in that we all like songwrite together. Like it's pretty equal as far as like songwriting and producing and stuff goes. So,
Nice. So we couldn't find a ton of information about the band online. Like you guys started in 2018, right?
Correct.
And you're from Nashville. We already kind of talked about that. Could you please share with us and listeners your origin story? There's a laugh.
Yeah. It's so I'd moved to Nashville. I'd been here for a little over a year, and I tried to do like a solo project, and I kind of ended up hating it, just because I always grew up playing in bands, and I just love the dynamic and like the camaraderie that comes with it. And I just think creating something with others is always just better. And so I started like teaching myself, kind of fiddling around with my MacBook Pro and Logic, just recording these terrible demos, but like I really liked the songs and kind of the synth pop direction it was going. And so I kind of put my feelers out on this Facebook page called Young Entertainment Professionals, and it's actually pretty popular in Nashville. Like we don't use it anymore because it's just a lot of like, newer people that are just trying to get connected. And I mean, we've been here for like 9 years. So, but at the time I kind of put my feelers out and was just like, I wanted, I kind of just wanted a little 3-piece, maybe a 4-piece, but wanted a drummer. And at the time I was just looking for a bassist and keyboard player. But lo and behold, Gavin hit a And he was like, yo, I don't play bass, but I play guitar and play synth. And I was like, all right, that works. But and I already had a drummer at the time that I was thinking about using, but Philip was pretty adamant. And I don't, you know, since you guys don't know Philip, when he's got his heart set on something, he's pretty gung-ho about it. So he was like, let's just meet for coffee. I know you said you're not looking for I think I was looking for something else in a drummer. So I'm like,
Bassist. You were still looking for a bassist.
bassist. Okay, yeah, that's right. But we met up for coffee and he was just super passionate. Like I played some of the demos for him and he was really into it. And so yeah, I ended up, you know, sticking with Philip. So he and I had a very awkward conversation with the other the other drummer, but he's doing great now. He's a great drummer. He's
Yeah, it's
one of
not
my
like he's, you know, on the corner somewhere playing for pennies. He's very successful. He's an amazing person. Rob, he's with the Foxies. Amazing guy.
Yeah.
But sidebar on that story, there's like, it's almost a two-parter because Alex like and Gavin were gonna do their own thing, and then Alex essentially ghosted Gavin. Love bringing that up to do his own solo thing. And then if I could interject my own little piece here, because when
Please.
Alex had put in on the Facebook page, hey, I'm looking for a bassist, here's a list of music I like, that's when I was like, I was looking for other bands to join, other gigs to kind of go to. And I loved everything he said, and I was like, you know what, let me put myself out there. I'm approaching like the end of my college career, and what's out there musically for me. I've been wanting to kind of get into a few more bands, and then like he said, we met up, listened to the demos. I was thinking, wow, this is some incredible music. I have to be a part of this in some way. And then we had a few of those coffee conversations, and that's how I was able to interject myself as the drummer of Drive Drive.
Nice.
I'll also throw in real quick. We all got coffee at this place called Ugly Mugs in Nashville. But so basically, Alex was like, "Hey, like everyone that's going to be in the band, we're all going to meet at Ugly Mugs. You know, come at this time." But I didn't know, I hadn't met Philip yet. And so I remember like walking up to Ugly Mugs, and and Philip and I are sort of both timid people, I would say. And so Philip was just kind of like moseying, like kicking rocks outside of Ugly Mugs. And then I go up and I'm like, oh, Alex is in here because Alex is always late to everything. And so then I start kicking rocks and I like kind of turned to Philip and I was like, what's up, man? And he's like, what's up? And then Alex showed up and he's like, oh, you guys have met. But
You didn't
yeah.
even know you met, and it happened.
Yeah, we bonded over our love for The Office, so that was like our because it was like I it was hard to get them to like talk to each other because you know he's so timid, so I was like trying to, you know,
Look,
break.
a three-person blind date is a little bit interesting to get going with. Love that mug, by the way.
I will say when we met Gavin, he was very much still in his shell, if you will. So he's blossomed a lot since then.
Well, that's good. Getting you
Yeah.
out of your shell, being in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how would you describe your music to someone who's never heard it before? And what two songs would you tell them to listen to first?
Mm.
I'd be
I'd say like
curious. I'm like,
Blankets,
sorry.
like alternative pop or like synth pop. And two songs. I mean, Love to Hate You, I feel like is our kind of like that's like the gateway song for a lot of people. And then one of my favorites is still Hotel Lobby. So like I mean it's one of our newer ones that we put out, but that's one of my favorites that we've so those are my two.
Yeah, I would say probably my two would be either Probably Love to Hate You just because it's, everyone seems to really like that song, and I do too. It's a great song. And I think my personal like favorite is probably Nice to Know You now. Because it was also like one of those songs we were looking at maybe putting a collection of songs together, and our producer was like, you guys don't have an opener. Like you don't have like the opening track. And so Alex came up with that like opening riff on the bass, and then it turned into the song that it is, but it was kind of like sort of thrown together, and I think ended up being one of our like funnest, like coolest songs that we have so far. So
Yeah, for me, Love to Hate You, like Alex said, kind of always going to be up there. And then I'm always the annoying person that loves all of our music. Every year, Spotify Wrapped, Drive top number. And I am unashamed, no shame in that. But if it's Love to Hate You and maybe going back to No Good, just that's one of the first few songs from the demos that I heard back then. And that one always that's typically the one of the last songs we play on our live sets. And never fails to just keep the energy going.
Yeah. You guys have like about 13 releases, singles and stuff.
That sounds about right. Yes.
Yeah.
Seems so tiny.
Right? You guys
Yeah.
got to get another EP out there or a full length.
Yeah. I mean, we're always pretty strategic with like what songs we always want to put out, which is kind of the opposite of what a lot of basically what everyone tells every artist now is like, doesn't matter what it is or how long it is, or if it's like just an MP3, just put it out there. And it's really hard for me to do that because I'm like, like I'm a little bit more on the meticulous side on maybe not on a lot of things, but with our music, it definitely I'm like I want to make sure it's like your baby. So
Right. I totally get that.
yeah. So it's a little bit different, but yeah, we've done well, but we're definitely pushing for more material for 2024, which is weird to say.
Can't wait to hear more. So when listening to your music, there was something about the sound and it reminded me of another artist, but I honestly can't put my finger on it. I definitely feel like you guys have a little bit of a retro vibe going on. And that being said, who would you say your musical influences are? And who would you compare yourself to musically if you had to? I know I'm coming at you with the tough questions.
I mean, we've been asked something similar, but it's always, I don't know why it's so hard. You'd feel like we'd have it down. Yeah, I mean, like I grew up with like classic rock and like pop punk and all, like all the emo shenanigans. So I think some of that channels in there. Like Third Eye Blind is a big influence for me. I love The Maine, like one of their albums is like super important. But I'm trying to think of like I don't know, Philip or Gavin, you guys take it and I'll keep.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to kind of pinpoint like it's always an interesting question of like who do you sound like or who do you want to be when I think we definitely have our own sound here. Like same as Alex, classic rock, grew up on Queen, Aerosmith, rewatched Freddie Mercury millions of times, kind of doing Live Aid on stage. And then kind of more newer, I'm a huge fan of The Killers, Coldplay, Franz Ferdinand, and just it's kind of a good mix of just kind of some classic elements. So some of that synth pop that you might see in like a John Hughes movie, mixed with some, modern day alternative rock, which we definitely love.
You have an input?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I have like a weird musical influence growing up. I listened to a lot of classical music and like mariachi music. But I would say probably the Killers as well. I think that's definitely where we get a lot of our like sort of 80s synth kind of sound from. I like
Yeah.
the newer Killer stuff. Yeah, I don't know. But we also like, I think Nashville's a really cool like pop rock scene as well. I feel like there's a lot of really amazing pop rock, like or like alternative rock acts that are popping up from here. And so
Yeah.
I think a big part it's kind of we all just sort of like see what the other guys is doing and we're like, cool, yeah, I like that. Like, you know, take influence from that as well. So
Yeah, I feel like I could definitely see you guys having a song on like Stranger Things or something, you know? Because like they have like the 80s theme and everything on Stranger Things, and it's great.
Yeah, I call Gavin the synth lord. So
It's Lord.
he does all the fun, like he'll just kind of experiment and put some really cool stuff together. But he's definitely the uh,
So I'm gonna twist up the influence question a little bit. So this one it makes people scratch their heads and think of some good answers. So for a reference, Johnny Depp says he got his inspiration for Jack Sparrow from Keith Richards. Do you have an inspiration for your stage presence?
mm,
They all
uh,
hummed at the same time.
yeah. I mean, I always grew up, yeah, with like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, and then watching all the pop punk and then even the hardcore bands I grew up listening to. I love their energy, and just they wouldn't stop. Like even if it was like an hour long set, I mean, they were just going hard the whole time. So it's always interesting when people come to our shows because they'll kind of just be like, "Oh, it's didn't seem like a pop show. Like it seemed more like like a rock show or like something a little heavier." But that's always been my energy, and I have a big pet peeve against people that just stand there and sing, which is like, I mean that everyone's different, but I'm just like I would rather just be running around going crazy. So
Yeah,
what's
it's
in
very hard for me sitting behind a drum set, especially when I take influence, like I said, from Freddie Mercury being a stage man. And so I kind of take elements of that, what I say of the front man, try to see if I can put it behind there, add a sense of fun behind it. One guy that does it extraordinarily well is Josh Dunn of 21 Pilots. He puts on a show. Like his entire body is going through it when he's playing. And so at least I try to kind of take influence from that and just kind of frontman mentality while also staying behind the kit. Occasionally you'll see me stand up when I'm playing. Does it annoy people? Maybe. Does it work? 100%. And definitely need to, like Alex said, you got to have that element of showmanship. You can't just be standing there playing the music, because it's not just about the music. You got to put on a performance if people are coming to see you play.
Definitely. I agree.
yeah, I'd have to I'm kind of on the same vein as Alex. Because I also like once I like expanded past mariachi music, I think pop or like punk was like sort of a big part. But probably like a little tamer, like like Reliant K or something. But you know, just like head banging and like cool riffs. Um, and I don't know if there's like anyone in particular, but one like I guess interesting tidbit is some of the we wrote some songs over the pandemic and I think they were great, but they were purely in like a studio context, you know, because we weren't playing shows, obviously. And then we started, you know, everything opened up again and we were playing shows again, and we were like, these these songs kind of suck to play live because it's so syncopated and so like everyone has to focus so hard instead of like just like focusing on performing, like giving a good performance and bringing the energy up and stuff. So it's kind of interesting because I feel like that has influenced the way that we write music now, because now when we get into the studio, we kind of have that perspective of like, okay, well, like what's going to be really fun to play on the stage and what's going to go really well like in a live concert setting versus like just purely in a Spotify context.
Yeah.
That one we pulled from Mutt Lang, the famous producer of Def Leppard, who I think is another inspiration for us, because they had the same thing of like, oh, we want this music like in the studio, we want this musically to sound great. And he said, I want you to play this song like you're playing it in front of 20,000, 50,000 people. How is it going to sound in stadiums around the world? And so we definitely have taken that mentality, and we're like, how is this going to play live? How are we going to be able to play it live, but how is it also just going to come across in the best possible way?
Yeah, that's a good answer.
So what has been an unexpected source of inspiration when creating music?
The unexpected.
Honestly, like I'll just driving for me is like, I don't know what it is, but if I'm on like a long road trip or something, I'll just start humming something. Even if I like listen to a podcast, I think it's a combination of driving and a lot of caffeine. So just and then I'll, pull out my phone, and without crashing, I'll try and like record a voice memo. And they always sound awful when I listen back to them, but I like get the melodies and kind of what I was thinking at the time. But I always start off with like a melody idea, but it's always when I'm driving.
Who's
Um,
next?
I'll go. It's gonna sound a little weird, but I feel like in a weird sense, like haters, like people that really like don't like that we're having a good time and making music that we enjoy. I think we've written a couple songs like regarding the haters, and basically being like, we don't care what you think, and we're just gonna do our thing. But I never thought that I would write a song or like be in a situation where we would like write music about people that we don't personally know, in that context. But I also feel like it's been like sometimes we'll read like hater like YouTube or Instagram or like TikTok comments to each other, because they're actually really funny. And so, but I don't know, that's kind of been some like fun inspiration to get like attention, I guess, in that way, and to respond to it with music.
Yeah. I mean, we've only had one hater so far, so
It was one of our best performing episodes, right?
I think so. And we just laughed because it was like a 3-word hate message.
We love the haters. It is amazing when they just try to go at us. Because we're like, this is amazing. Please keep commenting. It's so helpful for
It's
our
true.
mentality.
It also helps people notice you more too,
Exactly. So we're like,
because people are like, oh, look at this hater, and they like get into it.
like, your music sucks. Oh man, we're gonna stop.
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely, when I get onto like a post that someone posted and you see the hate, I kind of keep going. I'm like, is there anyone else that's hating on this post? Because I love reading the hate stuff because it's funnier.
Oh yeah, I mean, no press is bad press is what they
It's
say.
true. Definitely true.
Mhm.
So did you have any unexpected sources of inspiration, Philip?
It's unexpected. I think Gavin kind of brought the best example, because we wrote "You're So Cool" just basically off of people trying to cyberbully or be like, or just to kind of bring you down. Something that has started to creep up is I now have a 1.5-year-old, and like I remember my when I went to college here in Nashville at Belmont, and I studied music business, and my first class for that major, I had a teacher. He's in the band Little Texas, very famous country band. And he talked about what his life was like on the road, and like that in that life. And I had grown up that like music was my passion, my dream. And I remember one day in class, like specifically might have been the first day, and he just breaks down. He's like, look, this life isn't for everybody. If you choose to get into it, you're going to be missing birthdays, you're going to be missing holidays. But if it's really for you, then you have to give it everything. And one of the recent songs that we have, Who We Are, kind of touches on that. Just on that's obviously the musician's life, the band life isn't for everybody. And it pulls that, you know, we're gonna be away, we're gonna miss those days, we're gonna miss seeing first steps, seeing birthdays and everything. But it's just something that we're so passionate about. And it kind of, I try to draw inspiration from my own life, but I definitely get a lot more help working with Gavin and Alex, just because we're able to kind of come together and just mesh our ideas out really well. And we do a great job of shooting ideas down, because sometimes that's the good thing to do, while also like kind of like lifting up other ideas. I'm always a sucker if Alex puts in a song idea into the group, and I'll be the first one to say, this is the most amazing thing, let's record tomorrow. Or I'll be like, you could have done better. And then Gavin will all of a sudden hit us with, just like this happened on a recent few releases. He hit us with this, I think it was In Case You Care. And I was like, no, we had another song that was going to be on the list of songs we were wanting to go to, and I was like, this one has to edge it out. So I definitely take a lot more of my kind of inspirations from Alex and Gavin, since it for us, it does take three to tango, and these two guys are definitely doing a lot of that good work.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, it's good that you can rely on your bandmates.
Oh, definitely.
So
I swear I'm not crazy distracted, but my dog is losing her shit right now for some reason. So if I'm looking off not toward everybody, she is losing her freaking mind right now for some reason.
that crazy Millie.
Millie, the little guy's finally to bed.
Finally. He wanted to stay up and party with you, Chris.
He did. He was right here until right before, like probably 30 seconds before Gavin joined us.
So I've listened to all your songs that I've known of. That's why I said I think there's like 13. But then you mentioned another one, the cool one. You're So Cool, and I didn't find that one for some reason.
Yeah, it should be under just the singles, because we did just have a period of time where we were just releasing singles, but I think that was like 2021.
Correct.
Yeah, cool. Got it.
But then again, I listened on YouTube Music because sometimes it's easier for me to listen on YouTube. Because Spotify, I don't pay for.
We do have a music video for that one also, directed by Gavin, which he did a phenomenal job. That's one of our best videos that we've put out.
Yeah.
That's definitely on YouTube. I know that for sure.
Well, now I've got another song I'm gonna have to listen to. So
exciting.
Because every other song I've listened to so far, they've all been fantastic. So
Hell
however, I did really love like Hotel Lobby, and Love to Hate You was on my list, and then Together, one of your latest singles.
Okay.
And so if you had to choose, which songs would be your favorites that you've, released over the years? Just name a couple.
I am a strong advocate for R.I.P. Summer. It doesn't get like any love because I will say it. This is a hot controversial take, but I'm kind of with you. I've got Apple Music. I don't use Spotify, and one of my least favorite things about Spotify is if you have a body of work versus singles, it will make like an EP look like a single. it looks like I had a friend that like discovered our music, and she was like, oh, like I've listened to every song. And then I asked her, I was like, did you listen to RIP Summer? That's like one of my favorites that doesn't get enough love. And she was like, I've never heard that song. And it's because Spotify like has the interface is just weird, and then it makes you think that like you've already listened to like, I don't know, the way that it shows album art under like a body of work is
Mhm.
different, or I guess it looks the same as a single. So there were like 4 songs that she had never heard, but she like thought that she had listened to literally everything. So, but
Mm.
yeah, that's my answer is RIP Summer. I think that song should be so
Yeah.
much bigger.
I've noticed that on Spotify. Actually, I think I noticed it on YouTube too. I've clicked on stuff before and there's like multiple songs and I'm like, what? I thought it was a single.
Yeah, no, YouTube Music does that a lot.
They're good at hiding. I'd say No Good. Yeah, like No Good was one of my favorites in the early days, and I think it's super fun. And then Still Hotel Lobby, though, I think that's I love jamming out to that one.
Yeah, if not Love to Hate You or No Good, I think Love is Complicated. That one's just a nice, simple synth pop, but definitely up there with my favorites.
Nice. Did you have any, Chris? Did you have any favorites?
No. I can't pick favorite songs. I'm really bad at doing that. My son asks me all the time. So I have two. I have a 4-year-old and a 13-year-old, and my 13-year-old does ask me like, "Oh, well, what's your favorite song?" And for the longest time, I kept telling him it's "Bored Stiff" by Every Time I Die. That was my go-to answer. But ever since that's when I was kind of, I'll call it, on a hiatus of discovering new music. But now that, especially since the podcast has started, like it's constantly cycling. I can't pick one because if I choose one, I'm gonna backtrack and be like, no, but this one was great. So I can't. No,
Yeah.
I'm not playing that game.
I definitely say I've broadened my band horizons since starting the podcast. Like I used to love listening to like weekly discovery and stuff on Spotify. So I would, always be looking for new bands, but I feel like since we started the podcast, I'm looking even more. So
Mhm.
I'm like finding even more great music to listen to. So now it's like, oh, I really have a really broad variety of stuff I listen to now.
Have you listened to any more Russian shoegaze yet?
No,
Just the one.
just the one. And have you guys ever heard of shoegaze?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We had never heard of shoegaze before until we came across this Russian band.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool. It's not like my like.
It's something.
Yeah.
We actually had him on the podcast too, so that was an interesting interview.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we had to they were very explicitly saying in the Instagram chat back and forth, absolutely nothing remotely politically oriented. Because of course everything that's going on over
Wait
there.
a minute. Is there something politically happening right now that
No.
I'm
Not
not?
that I'm aware of.
Why would they even ask that?
I don't know.
So we had to write up the questions, and I sent it to them ahead of time, be like, just so you know, this is what we're planning on talking about. But then he flipped the table and kept mentioning political things, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was a little weird.
I'm not for sure if he was being serious about the no jokes thing either in the beginning.
No, but they did. I'll share the best part about that interview is we asked them about awkward things that have happened on stage, and one of their bass players decided to turn up all his equipment and kind of go off on his own riff and everything in the middle of a show, and they at the end of the song they fired him right there in the middle of a performance.
Oh.
I'm like, oh man.
Cutthroat Russians.
That's like a Jack Black moment from School of Rock.
Yeah.
Love that.
Uh,
Wow.
all right.
Shoegaze is dramatic.
I guess.
At least in Russia.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back on track now, Chris.
Sorry. Not really.
So out of all the songs you guys have released, which song or songs was the hardest to write and get right during the mixing process?
I know.
Oh, yeah.
You're So Cool. I feel like that song, which I know you haven't listened to, but I think we wrote that song like 4 different times. Like, started writing it, came up with the concept, started writing some lyrics. Because once you listen to it, it's a lot of like fast lyrics. It's a very rhythmic, like fast paced lyrical song. And so in order like to fill all the syllables that you need is a lot of words. And we started writing it. I don't even remember what we started writing it about. I think we were writing it about like having a boys' night out in the town or something. And then we were like, no, that's kind of lame. And then we're like, well, what if we write it about like really wanting like a girl and like pursuing her. And then we're like, and I think it was like either the third or fourth time we were like, okay, like let's like we'd seen these like critics and people, and it was like, you guys can't even play an instrument. Like, what are you talking about? You know? And so we figured out that that's what that would be about. But I feel like that song we probably wrote back and forth for like close to a year before we like actually were like, okay, that's it.
We had like 2 iterations of full lyrics, verse, chorus, verse, chorus done for that song.
Yeah.
We
Like fully written.
We were like, wow, we need to change these because they're not working. But it turned out great. So don't regret it.
Hey, as long as it turned out great in the end.
It did. Big fan.
Did anyone hate on the song?
Yeah. I was gonna say, if you you can check out our hate comments in the music video. Go watch it.
Go to our Instagram, a few of them.
I think my favorite one from the music video was like, these guys are just wearing their guitars. It's like, yeah, can I swear on this, or is that
No,
a
you
no-no?
can. You can.
I was like, yeah, no shit. Like, it's a music video. We're not actually playing the song. Like, we were, but it was like you're not actually hearing what we're playing. It's a music video. What are you talking about?
I think people still think that bands play their actual music in a music video.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
or like on TikTok, they're like, "Oh yeah, like he's totally singing it live." I'm like, "Bro, it's like fully produced. Like it's a full." He is lip syncing. He's out in the middle of his yard. How is he? Where's the amplifier? Like,
Yeah, where's the reverb? Where's
Also,
that coming from?
God forbid Alex wears a Nirvana shirt in anything.
oh yeah,
He gets a lot of hate for
Kurt
that.
Cobain is at wow.
Yeah.
What was it? What did that one guy say? Someone was like, Kurt Cobain would kill himself again if he saw you wearing that shirt.
It was dark. Like
It was dark,
like,
yeah.
wow. Or
I'm
it's like,
gonna have to look all these up. I gotta read these comments.
it's like when someone just randomly comes up to like a random person down the street, like name every single Nirvana song or name every single Stone song. And Alex is a very big fan of Nirvana. But it's like,
Yeah, in fact,
he's
gonna name every song right
They're
now.
like, okay, great. But why did you know him personally? Okay.
ugh, always something.
So would you agree with Gavin on his choice of the hardest song to write and the hardest one to get right during mixing?
Yeah, I forgot about that one because that was during COVID, so we were all doing Zoom writes or like calling each other, just texting each other. So it just took a long time because we were just in weird places. I was like in North Carolina a lot of the time, just with my family, because they live on 4 acres, and I'm like, well, I'm getting the hell out of Nashville. So
Yeah, my dad's on like 3 acres, but you know, it's not a ton of acres, but at least it's a little bit, secluded.
yeah, that's enough. But yeah, I'd agree with that.
Chris,
What?
you're next.
Oh,
Your
God.
question's next.
Listen, I'm too focused on my great idea that just came out of this conversation. So 2018, you're still for you know, in the grand scheme of things, a fairly new band. What would you say some of the biggest struggles have been since starting the band? And do you have any advice for anyone listening who might consider starting one of their own?
I see Gavin's got like this smirk on his face.
I shouldn't say it.
What is
Uh,
Gavin?
Well, you
no, I
got
was like, for someone that wants to start a band, I'm like, don't. It's, I mean, like, I don't know. For music's sake, bands are great. Love being in a band. It's so stressful being in the music industry. I think for everyone, I don't, even if you're like really successful, I still feel like it's incredibly stressful and a lot of work, and but you know, also very fulfilling, and you get to hang out with some really cool people. But that's kind of, I was like laughing at that because I don't know, I had a flashback to I was selling some like music equipment to someone, and it was like this mom, and she had this son that was in high school, and she's like, my son wants to be a music producer. Like, you're an adult. Like, where do you think he should go to college? And I was like, he shouldn't. I was like, for music producing, I don't know, probably don't. And she didn't like it, but
whoops.
It's funny because you talk about music producing. I feel like a lot of people don't go to college for that. A lot of people end up being in a band and then they become a producer.
that's what I was saying. I was like, I don't think anyone in the industry cares if you have a degree in music. I think that's like the least of their concern.
Unless you're actually working in the industry,
Yes.
not band wise, then it's like no. Like my school, they have an audio engineering program, and like I have a few friends went through the program. They're phenomenal, but at the end of the day, you're also going to that program to. It's about who are you meeting with, who are you connecting with, like who are you a great hang? Can you be that guy in the room that has the idea? And so it's just about like who do you know and how can you kind of leverage your connections and also utilize your knowledge. But if you're also wanting to, you know, start a band or figure it out, definitely have a group of guys that you want to be in a car with for sometimes 24 hours straight. That's a nice helpful one. We've done a few tours where we've had to drive 24 hours straight to the West Coast and back. And so definitely find a group of buds that you can do that to and don't want to kill yourselves with.
Right.
And also definitely don't think you know everything, because more often than not, you don't. Or don't be that person that's gonna hate on everything of like, I don't like this artist, I'd never work with this artist, or I hate their music. Because if you start to be that person, that negativity is just gonna start to go to other people and they're gonna maybe not want to work with you, and not necessarily like your ideas. So be very open-minded, and just be considerate about others.
Yeah. Sounds like good idea.
Yeah, I would also say, I'm kind of speaking to my younger self, that it just takes time sometimes. I feel like, you know, I think when I moved out to Nashville, I was 20, and I was like, I'm gonna be famous by the time I'm 21, you know. But it's a process, and you just have to put in the work and trust the process, and like, things will start happening, but you got to do the work first, you know.
Yeah. Anything for you, Alex?
Yeah, be a good hang for sure. And yeah, just I think just finding people that, you know, make you more creative and kind of like drive those processes, you know, just because you can like be with some of the best writers in the world and you just don't vibe with them. Like, we're in Nashville, so you know, you can throw a rock and find like a Grammy winning producer or writer, you know, like at the end of the day, like you know, still may not vibe with them. So it's like, just find your people, and you know, it'll all work out from there. Because I think it's just really all about getting your best creativity out, not necessarily like what the industry wants or like anything like that. So yeah, good vibes.
Good vibes.
Is there anything you've learned about yourself through creating music?
Mm, mm, I so I used to think that I hated like producing and like I only wanted to just like do demos and other things like that, but I've actually learned that I really enjoy it and I like the process of kind of making everything just sound better. So that was something for me. I just had to finally sit down and be like, all right, I'm going to be better at actually like learning about production um, and songwriting too. So yeah, I think it's just when you spend all that time in the studio and you kind of just watch the producers just kind of do their thing, it's just really inspiring and super cool.
Anyone else?
I think for me, one thing I've learned about myself is that my environment matters a lot as far as like creating goes. Like I feel like creatively, I had like sort of a dry spell where I wasn't really like contributing as much to songwriting, or there was a lot of things going on, but I was also like not um, like in a super great living situation at the time, and there were a lot of other things going on. So I think like um, putting yourself in like learning to put myself in a good positive environment where I can feel free to create or do whatever I want is like really quintessential to not only like writing and making music, but I also feel like just being happy in life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of always almost ready for, at least for our music, like the next thing. And so I've tried to kind of slow myself down of like, all right, so we've released this one song. What's the next song that's going to come out? What's that next thing? Because we have so many great ideas that we've been working on and that we have worked on in the past. And so I give myself time with like the releases that we have. And once they're out, I'm always pushing them, listening to them, loving them still. But I'm always kind of, I've noticed I'm always like, all right, what's the next thing? Like we gotta keep going. We gotta keep working on the music, keep releasing stuff. And so I've definitely, although I've tried to slow myself down a bit and know that some stuff does take time, I'm always going to be that champion of, all right, we've got this out. What's the next thing that we can give to the people?
All right.
Yeah, I need
So-
to learn to slow down too.
I slow down a lot. What are you talking about?
You do slow me down.
Ah,
But yeah, no, it's that's a struggle. I'm just like you. I'm always ready to jump into the next thing, and whether it's at work or elsewhere, everyone's like, slow down. I don't know how.
well, gotta slow down and take a little time to smell the roses. I don't know. So, do you guys have any crazy or interesting stories from the road that you could share?
One time Philip ran over a rock the size of
Allegedly, for purposes, it was
not a rock, sorry, a boulder, if you will.
allegedly a boulder. That
Confirmed.
It was
I,
the thing that took down the Titanic, but in boulder form.
yeah, but we're alive. And for legality reasons, that's all we're gonna say. Just kidding. Yeah, that was one of our West Coast tours. When it got, I forget where exactly it was, but there was definitely a rock slide. On the hill. It was very wet, and it was either run over a big boulder or crash into cars on both sides of us. So I took the road that wasn't going to get us killed. And then there was that.
Did it kill the vehicle?
No,
No.
vehicle was very much alive, oddly enough. So very thankful for that.
We definitely all caught like all of our gear and everything. We were all off the like we all caught air basically. Like that's how this thing lifted the vehicle.
Yeah. That was a
It had
nice
to
moment.
had to be in California, right, or something like that.
It was definitely close to California, I
Yeah.
think.
No, I remember exactly where it was. It
Oh.
was
Arizona.
yeah, it was Arizona. It was about an hour north of Phoenix. We were going through like a national park or something. So it was like also the middle of nowhere. The rain was freezing. I think it was like 40 or 45 degrees outside. And it was like we got hit by a flash flood.
Hmm.
And in Arizona, flash floods can be extremely dangerous. And yeah, and to add more context, it was either hit a boulder, hit other cars, or drive off the side of like a mountain.
Option number 3 was even better. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't want to go out in that kind of glory, huh?
no.
Yeah. And
Hello,
then I
Louise,
think
thank you.
it was that same drive in the same go that we drove 24 hours straight.
Yeah.
Because we drove from Nashville. That's another sort of fun story. Is we drove from Nashville. We left sort of late. I want to say like at 4 or something, 4 p.m. And we were just like, let's just go as far as we can go. We'll get a hotel. And we started driving. I like fell asleep immediately. I got in the car in the back seat. I just fell asleep. And then I woke up at probably like 2 a.m. to them like getting out and stopping at a gas station. And Alex and Philip were like, we're done. Like, we'll find somewhere to go. And I was like, I think I could drive for a little bit. And we got me a Bang Energy. And I had never had Bang Energy before. And also, like, I don't drink a whole lot of caffeine. And so I got in the van and I like opened up the Bang Energy and I started drinking it. And I was like, oh my God. Like it hit me like a ton of bricks. And I ended up driving like 9 hours from like 2 a.m. until like 11, like the next day. And then I think I got us basically all the way through Texas, like by myself.
No, I remember. I think we were in Oklahoma or maybe the top of Texas. That's where we were planning to stop. I remember going to waking up in New Mexico, and I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, we were like
stopping.
2 states over.
I was like, "Good for you."
You had that caffeine rush.
Yeah, I was so awake, it was nuts. And I was like, I was just listening to like a murder podcast, and then they were both asleep, but I was like, I was vibing for 8 hours. I was good.
Dude, crystal meth's a hell of a drug.
Any other stories?
We love hearing stories. We love them.
It's just funny every time Philip gets hit on because like he's such a loyal husband, and like even before him and Mads were married, he'd just be like, I have a girlfriend. And
no, I'd be like, hey, how'd you like to see a photo of my wife? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Sometimes wearing a ring doesn't do it. So
yeah, gotta be a little bit more like, you know, hey.
On my finger, like very clearly.
You're like, she put a ring on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I guess we can tell them about the strike it. I won't
we will redact any name.
Redact names.
It starts with me. We were playing a show and I forget exactly why this was happening, but we were like the second or third band to play. And there wasn't enough time after everybody's sound checking for me to set up a drum set because we were traveling without my drums. We were just sharing drums left and right. And the sound guy was like, hey, is there any way you could just sound check with the main band's drums right now? And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I'll also ask him, hey, can I use your set for the show? Won't change anything, whatever. So I go to the drummer and I say, hey, man, can I, use your set? I'll use my snare, my cymbals. I won't change anything on your set whatsoever. Can I just use your set for our show. And he looks me dead in the eye without saying anything else except for, I'm just going to strike it. And I said, okay, that's cool. I just wanted to ask. So I go away. And then the sound guy's like, hey, and then so I asked another band, hey, can I use your set? Because I also couldn't use the band before us set because they had a left-handed drummer. So there was going to be another complete changeover, and it was just a whole entire cluster. But I go to one of the other bands. I'm like, can I use your set? And they said, absolutely, use it all you want to. And I'm like, great, you're nice. And so we're about to sound check, and I was gonna sound check and everything. And the sound guy's like, hey, we're running out of time. I need you to sound check on the main band's drums right now. And I said, the guy won't let me. And he goes over to that guy. I'm with him. And he's like, hey, can we just use your set? We'll barely touch it. And he's like, no, I'm just going to strike it. And we kept repeatedly asking him this. And he said no other information, no other words, except for, I'm just going to strike it. Like the most pompous response. Like I'm the coolest person in the world, and you don't deserve to be where I am. I'm just gonna strike it. And we were like, cool. And so that was that show. We were playing them like a day later, and then apparently their entire tour got canceled. So it was a nice little thing of karma. But now every time we're playing a show or doing something, just gonna strike it comes up in the conversation. That is a nice little
Can I want to add some context here, because I feel like the context makes it even more infuriating. So it was a 5-band lineup. There were 5 bands playing that night. That's so many bands for like one concert. There was a line out the door. People, like, we were like probably 20 minutes late opening doors because we hadn't sound checked yet. We were the last band to sound check. The first band was a left-handed kit, so they needed to change out the drums entirely to accommodate the first band. Anyway, the main drummer had his setup already set up. So the reason we were really trying to push for him is because if we had to check with the other band, we just lost Alex. If we checked with the other bands, not the left-handed band, but the other band that let us use their set, that would mean that in order to just sound check, we would have to set up an entirely new set of drums and then immediately take it down so that the left-handed drummer could set up their set. Just for them to take it down again, and then for the other drummer to put their set back on. So it was like it was so like out of everyone's way to accommodate this drummer that just like didn't want us to just literally hit the snare top and like the snares a couple of times just so the house like knew that the drums were going to sound okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, nah, I'm just going to strike it. I'm just going to strike it. So yeah, I'll be like, Philip, can you pass me that thing? And he'll be like, I'm just going to strike it.
Just going to strike it.
So now it's become an inside joke between the
100%.
Yeah.
Or anyone else that might have known about it, except for, I guess, that might have just been the sound guy.
We've had like a number of people that have gone on to know the person that we've talked about, and we've not told them the story until they've had a bad experience with them. And then we're like, hey, just so you know, here's this nice little story we have about them. And they said, why haven't you told us this sooner? This would have saved us a lot of grief. And we're like, yeah, but we don't want to get into anybody's business. So
right.
that's
well,
little thing there.
You don't want to like badmouth someone just because you had a bad experience, because that doesn't look good on you.
If you're working with somebody, that's just something you want to keep to yourself, unless they ask for it. And if they ask like, hey, is there anything we should know? And like, we're not gonna, be the guys that's like, oh, they suck, you shouldn't work with them, or because they might have completely different experience. But from our experience and from what our knowledge, it's essentially been the exact same thing with everybody. So
yeah. Alex is coming back.
There he is. I have one more if you guys have time. I don't know what our
That leave
restrict-
that up to Chris because I'm good.
Yeah, I got time for one more.
All right. We were playing a show actually in the same city as the Strike It guy. But we had just come back from literally like a nationwide tour. Like we had just played coast to coast in over a dozen venues. I don't know if it was like up to 20, but it was like we'd played a lot of cities, a lot of different venues. Not to mention the venue that we were playing had like we had previously played there on the same run, and we were coming back to sort of do a victory lap or something. I don't know why we went back, but we go back and we're like, you know, going through the rounds, and I was talking to the sound guy and I was like, here's our setup, this is what we do, here's where we're going to send you, here's what we need from you. And he just goes, that'll never work. And I was like, what? And he was like, no, what you're trying to do, it's impossible with the gear you have. And I was like, we just played like 20 shows doing this. And he's like, no, but it's like what you want, what you really want, is just never going to work. And I was like, we played the room that's next door with a smaller setup, and they were able to do this just fine. And he's like, no, like you don't know what you're talking about. And I was so like flab. I was like, I don't know what to do with this man, because I like he's just directly refuting everything that I am telling him, even though like I know that I'm right. And he ends up being a huge pain in the butt to work with, and he spent like an hour tuning the other band's drums for some reason, like a full hour. And then basically it was just us and one other band, and we were late sound checking because this guy was so hard to work with. And then eventually we just kind of told the venue like, hey, we love you guys, we love this venue, but we won't play here if this guy is like we don't have to fire him, but we won't work with him again ever. Like you like get a different sound guy for when we play, because that experience was like truly awful.
Yeah. It's pretty much he was telling you didn't know what you were talking about, and it was his opinion and won't listen to anyone else's.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
I will say
classic.
this.
Classic sound guy with a ponytail.
Yeah.
If you know
he
what
was
a sound
classic
guy
sound
looks
guy.
like, this was
Oh,
the
yeah.
sound guy. Like, I only do metal bands, and you guys aren't real music. That was the sound guy.
He's like, you use a click track, get real.
Get real.
It's funny you say like a sound guy with a ponytail, because like I went to a lot of shows at the Rave in Milwaukee over the years, and the sound guy, he had really long hair. I think his name was like Dan or something like that, but he'd always have it in a big ponytail too. And I'm like, I guess that is a typical sound guy with long hair and a ponytail.
So
Yeah.
yeah, back like off the back of that story, where have been some of your favorite places to play?
LA was super cool. And then New York, probably. I mean, those are like super typical, but I think those were my favorites for sure.
Yeah, LA, I think we played the men. I think that was a booked out room. That was really awesome for us to play. New York, we played there a couple of times, but the better time that we had was at Rockwood Music Hall. And then even in Nashville, there's a historic venue, Exodus, that we played a couple of times at. That's definitely been a favorite of ours, just because of everybody has played there. All these amazing acts have come through. Even recently, like Ed Sheeran, when he had his big show here, like he stopped by just to play like I forget with which artist, but I think it wasn't Gail, but I know that she's also played there before. But Exodus is also kind of up there for us, especially from a Nashville perspective.
Have you guys
Yeah.
played in Wisconsin? Because I know you mentioned cheese curds.
Not
You
yet.
had Wisconsin cheese
yet.
curds, but you haven't played here.
Yeah, that was
Oh.
our friend Chris from the Foxies, their bass player. His family brought them to us, and I always thought cheese curds were supposed to be hot, and I was like, I was like, can I eat these? And he was like, yeah. He was just in like a Ziploc bag. He was like, yeah, you just eat them like this. I was like, what?
There's two different kinds. There's two different kinds of cheese
Oh,
curds.
okay.
There's fried cheese curds and regular cheese curds. See,
think
now
I'm
you
more
got to come to
partial.
Wisconsin so you can go to Culver's and have Culver's cheese curds because that's a big thing around here, Culver's.
The
Oh, yeah.
restaurant.
Oh,
We've got
like-
Culver's down here too.
There
Yeah,
is?
we got
Okay.
Culver's,
Oh yeah.
I don't know how far Culver's goes. I guess I've never looked into that.
Could you describe your dream gear setups for us?
Oh, dream gear. Oh man.
Sky's the limit.
I definitely want. I used to have a Gibson guitar and I sold it, but I want it back. Because I've got a Fender Tele right now, but a Gibson Midtown is like would be my dream guitar. It's not even like I don't even think they make them anymore, but it's just it looks so great. And then probably just like a nice, really dope, like silvered out. Not really a gold guy. So I do like a really nice silvered out like wireless mic. Probably from Shure. Not really like into Sennheiser, but if they want to sponsor us, I'll take it. And we already have kind of like a pretty good like in-ear setup. But I would love to have like upgraded ears and a mixer so we can mix everything already kind of for the front of house, so we like don't have to rely as much on like a sound guy, because sometimes we meet guys with ponytails that only mix metal and we're pop. So yeah, that for me would be my ideal. I don't really need a lot, but
I'm a big Yamaha drum guy. And if they ever want to make an acrylic clear Yamaha drum set, I will be the first one to buy it, no matter how much it costs. But I already play like a maple set. And so I think like the Absolute maple is just the next step up. But big Yamaha drum guy. Don't see myself really changing brands, unless someone else liked to, see what they have to offer. But anything Yamaha for me would be the way to go.
Yeah. I kind of feel like I have my dream gear, I guess. Well, I would always want more synthesizers all the time, every day, but I got my Fender Strat with the double coil pickups, which is a guitar that I've wanted for a long time. My Dan Electro, I think it's a weird name. It's like XT770 or something, but my twangy guitar that I love. And then I've got Prophet Rev 2, which I've always like wanted Dave Smith since, but I would say maybe if anything, it'd be dope to have like like a synth cage on stage with just like 8 synthesizers surrounding me. And maybe like, yeah, if we could just like make a platform where it like rotates for me, kind of like Neil Peart, that'd be super sick.
You're getting super rock star on us.
Yeah,
no, just have like the three. No, you got to do like the Katy Perry guy where he has a 360-degree synthesizer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Perry, Lady
Just for,
Gaga,
like-
whichever was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All for it just to make like beeps and boops.
Beep, beep. Yep.
So, what do you hope that fans and listeners take away from your music?
I mean, we're like pretty positive. Like, yeah, we have like songs that are, like basically like screw the haters kind of thing. But at the end of the day, like we really always just want to be positive, and just encourage people to just, I mean, if they're going through something, we want you to, like resonate with our lyrics, and, but also like if you're at the gym or if you're just in your normal everyday life, like driving down the road, like we just love being a part of people's lives. And it's so crazy that when we see the amounts of, plays or streams and playlists, we're just like, wow, it's weird, because we're probably will never meet, 90% of those people. So It's awesome. Like I think music is one of the most powerful things, and the most underrated
Mhm.
things that we take for granted all the time. So it's really cool to just be a part of that, and just be like this, this band from Nashville that, someone in Wisconsin hears about us and we've never been. So
You've never been here, but
Yeah.
you better come here.
yeah, we would love to meet everyone, anybody that's ever listened to us. We don't care what age or what they're going through. Like we always want to connect with as many people as possible.
Yeah. Essentially, if anyone was asking us that, we're just like anyone else. We've gone through your same experiences. We've had our our loves, our breakups, people coming at us on the internet, our road stories. But we definitely emphasize like how much we love our fans and that we're always going to be there for them the same way that they've been there for us. We love hearing about, hey, come play in Wisconsin. We'll have some cheese curds, drink some spotted cow, pronounce Milwaukee, and it'll be a great time.
I call it Milwaukee sometimes.
All right. Yeah, I feel like if there's anything, like I feel like music is such an easy way to sort of create that like parasocial relationship. But I feel like if there's anything that like I hope that our fans take away is that our music really does come from the heart, and we do like it's not so much that we're like what's going to sell the best, like what's going to fit with our like our listener base the best, that is going to perform just like there's none of that. It's us just trying to be honest with ourselves and write music that really resonates with us. And I think it really means a lot to us that it resonates with other people, and that they can relate to it in their own way. I think like one of my favorite memories was our last show that we played. There was a guy that DM'd me on Instagram, and he was like, hey, I'm coming to your show. I'm super excited. And we had seen him a few times. He drives like 4 hours usually to come see our shows. He lives in I think Alabama, and we don't play Alabama super often. So if we're playing like Atlanta or Nashville, he comes. And he was like, yeah, I went through like a really rough breakup, and I like had a fiance, and we're no longer dating, and like these songs have really gotten me through that. And so he like recommended some of these, like requested I should say, what songs we could play on the set list. And we definitely like we listened and we put it on the set list. And because we really wanted to be able to give him that experience of listening to it live, and being able to connect with him in that way. And it was really fun. And he was like right front and center of the stage, and it was fun like singing with him and being able to connect with him in that way. So
That's so great. I like hearing that. So besides your own band, there's so many others releasing great music. Who is on your personal playlist these days?
Damn. I have to look.
I know everyone's like, oh, if I ask questions like that, I gotta check my Spotify list or my Apple list.
I've actually been getting more into the like music that I kind of grew up with, like the Goo Goo Dolls. God, they have so many bangers. 5 Seconds of Summer, like their earlier stuff was like a big. I think their production stuff is they're like one of my guilty pleasures. Charlie Puth is another one for me. Third Eye Blind. Those are
Mhm.
those are kind of the list right now.
In terms of actual new music that's come out, I'm also big on Bleachers. Jack Antonoff, obviously, everyone's worked with him, but I mostly like his his own band. So big on Bleachers. I've also realized that I've been sucked back into my musicals era. So I'm listening to Hamilton, listening to Wicked, Six the musical, just all that fun stuff. But I'm also going back into my old stuff. So Def Leppard, Aerosmith, it kind of goes around for me.
I've been listening to a lot of weird stuff as of late. I feel like
Surprise.
yeah, surprise. I like my weird stuff. The playlist that I add a lot to is called IDK Weird Vibes Only. And it's none of them, if you look at them on a list, it's like none of these songs fit, but for some reason they do. But I would say probably one of my favorite artists that I've been listening to as of late was I think she calls it 070 Shake, but or maybe it's just 70 Shake, but there's like a 070 Shake. She's incredible, also like really cool 80s style synth stuff. And as of late, I've also been listening to oh crap, what's the name of that band? Never mind. I don't remember the name. Weird stuff. I don't know. But also like Sufjan Stevens put out a new album. Oh, Sampha put out a really, really good record back in October. So I don't know, like really weird alternative synthy art house stuff, I guess, is what I've been listening to.
Hey, we like the recommendations, so we like to find new stuff to listen to.
Yeah, look them up. They're good.
So growing up, you know, being into music and everything, do you have any standout shows that you attended?
I do. It's so random, but M83. M83, I'm like not even a big fan of M83. And I went to the show only knowing Midnight City, right? The song that everyone knows. But even though I only knew one song, it was the best concert I've ever been to. It's blown every other artist out of the water, and I'm including like my favorite artists that I've gone and seen. M83 has so far by far put on the best show that I have ever seen.
I was like in my like angsty teen years, but I went to go see our friend's band was opening up called Joan Zetta, but they were opening up for Mute Math. And I'd heard like one of their songs, and I walked out of there just like blown away. They were just nuts, and they're like this, like if you listen to their album, you'd be like, oh, this is just like a cool indie band. But I walked out of there, I was like, this shit was nuts. He was like on top of his piano at one point. Their drummer started the show, Darren, and he has a thing of duct tape, and he put these like headphones on his head, and he just starts wrapping the duct tape on these headphones, and I'm like, what is happening? And then he just starts going on his drums, and I'm like, this is insane. But yeah, like and then it was kind of crazy because after I left that show, I was like, oh my god, I can't wait to like listen to their album. And I listened to it, and it never lived up to like the hype of that show. So it was kind of like, it was weird. It was but I would say that was the best live show I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of stadium big shows. Was like pretty close up front for the Killers. Then Few back for Coldplay. Metallica, I got nowhere near the pit, and I wasn't going to. But I think one of the more memorable ones, just because I saw him with my mom, it was also a big fan, was Prince, because he put on a phenomenal show. He put the emphasis on the musicians, because he didn't need to showcase himself. It's Prince, but just a phenomenal show from start to finish. That was definitely a good memory.
How about you, Jess?
You don't want Chris, you know what my answers are always.
I don't think I've asked you this one before though.
The
I know who it's gonna
shows?
be. I know who it's gonna
I
be.
have
but
multiple
can you at
standout
least-
shows.
Is it all the same band?
No. He gives me flack all the time.
The best standout show is going to be Story of the Year. What year is it and what venue is it?
Oh, I love Story of the Year.
They're my favorite band ever. So I saw them for the first time ever when they were still Big Blue Monkey.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of them, so still am. Yeah.
Yeah. They're still putting out great hits. I just went to
It's,
the Page Avenue tour, so
Oh man, I wish I could have gone to that, because that was like my just in that whole phase, that was like such a big album.
Yeah.
And
No,
they do all
Chris,
their backflips.
Chris, I have other standout shows. I mean, I saw Paula Abdul a long time ago, and that was a standout show. I was probably like 10. I've seen Huey Lewis live twice, and he's great. If we want to get a little more classic. What's your standout show, Chris?
I knew that was coming. There's definitely two that come to mind. There was a venue here in Syracuse that used to be in the rec room of a church, and they would rent out the room for concerts. And some regional band from Rochester came and played, and they put on such a phenomenal show. And I'm like, oh man, that was such a great show. And I bought their album at the merch table, and I listened to it on the way home, and I was like, this is garbage. Like they put on such a strong, energetic live show. I still have the pictures from the show. Like I was entranced. I'm like, this is an amazing show. But then when I actually listened to the music, I was like, is this even the same band? Like, did I just go to the wrong merch table? What? And then another one was, it was actually the first concert I ever went to. It was the Ska's Dead tour. And it had like Catch 22, Big D and the Kids Table, and then a local band opened up, and they were really great. It was a local college ska band, and I ended up seeing them twice. But that was a great show, being my first show. And I was a little in love with the lead singer. I did ask her to my prom. It did not happen, but I
said no.
tried. She was already
no.
back. So it was a college band. I was in high school. So college ends earlier than high school up here. So by the time prom rolled around, she was already back in whatever state she lived in.
Hey, man.
Heartbroken.
Took that shot.
How I got
You
my
did.
actual prom date is I just went to somebody in the lunchroom and during breakfast, and I was like, "Hey, are you going?" And they were like, "No." I was like, "Do you want to?" And she said, "Yeah." And that was that.
Beautiful.
I didn't go to prom. Never got asked out to prom.
It's overrated. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Absolutely not.
My brother went to like 5 proms because he kept dating girls in high school.
Oh, all right, Matt.
That took a twist.
He's like, none of them. Yeah, he wasn't in high school for any of them.
I think it was in high school, maybe for 2 of them, 2 out of 5.
Oh, man.
So
yeah.
a little a weird question now, right? So if you could
gosh.
describe the band's music as a brand of gum, what gum would it be, and why?
Do people even chew gum anymore? Yeah, I
it's
don't
like-
chew gum anymore. I haven't chewed gum in like years, I swear.
I'm going to
I
show
feel
you
like
the Ricky Bobby commercial in a second.
You don't chew Big Red. Like bubble yum, because we're poppy, like it's like but no, I can't say that because then it's like you chew it for like 2 seconds and then you're just like, this is trash. So
That's Fruit Stripes gum.
oh yeah. I mean, most of the gum used to be, I'd say we're more like Pop Rocks,
Yeah,
Mm,
I was gonna
Papa
tell Chris,
gum.
be like, you should ask him what the candy they would be is instead of gum.
Next time.
next time.
The time is now,
The time is up. All right, yeah, let's do both then.
which is a Story of the Year song, just in case you were wondering.
Why every time?
Um,
So yeah, let's change that, I guess, to candy.
So
I
Alex
still
says Pop Rocks.
I'd say Pop Rocks. Yeah, got a little sizzle to it,
I'd say
And your Poppy.
Yeah,
You see what Pop Rocks?
I'd say
yeah.
Pop Rocks.
It's unanimous.
Yeah.
Pop Rocks. They're Pop Rocks.
Not one vote for like Nerds Rope or something.
No.
That's so crazy you said that because I was literally thinking that. I was like Nerds Rope specifically, not just nerds, but Nerds Rope. That's crazy.
Yeah. Nerd Rope is another level of nerds though. So
But now they've broken it down even smaller because you can get Nerds Gummy. So it's like a gummy covered in nerds.
Those are also very good.
Yeah.
Now we just done a candy.
You can't,
kick.
yeah.
Yeah, now
No,
I'm gonna go
it's gonna
get
be a
food.
food kick in
I
general.
know. I
We
love
gotta-
Milk Duds. Milk Duds are one of my favorite.
Oh man.
That's a Wisconsin answer right there.
Is it?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah,
It gets stuck to my teeth. I can't do it.
yeah, can't do it.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way.
So yeah. So people love a good joke. Do you have any great dad jokes?
Philip?
Yeah, Philip.
I know. I was like,
Yeah.
you don't you have to be a dad to have dad jokes?
Definitely haven't perfected the dad jokes yet, so I don't know if I'm much help there. I mean, no, actually, no, I don't have any.
How about just any regular jokes that you've heard lately that you kind of never forget, like a Laffy Taffy joke, which they're
Hmm.
never funny. Except I've come across a few.
I will say, Philip, being a dad for almost 14 years now, it does just kind of osmosis onto you, and the jokes will come naturally. It just
Oh, I tried on some Nike Air Monarchs the other day because my wife was like, "You should try these on," and I was like, "Are you sure?" And I did, and she was like, "Immediately take those off. I never want to see you in dad shoes again." I was like, "Thank you for not giving up on me." So that would have been a great joke, but it wasn't. So
I don't really tell jokes. I always just quote movies or TV shows, I feel like.
or other comedians.
Yeah.
I've got one, but it's multilingual, and it only makes sense if you know both languages.
Oh my, you would.
I honestly don't know any other languages.
Yeah, it's really good if you know Spanish, but if you don't know Spanish, it's not funny at all.
Chris, do you know Spanish?
I did 6 years of it and haven't used it since high school, so kind of.
Okay, you want to try?
Sure, I probably won't understand it, but let's go for it.
Okay, it's all in Spanish. There's no English part, but there is kind of an English part, but you'll see.
I should bring Google Translate out so I know what you're saying.
Right? I feel like I should do the same thing at the same time because I haven't used this in 20 years.
Okay. ¿Qué le dije el hombre al otro hombre cuando cuando no podría deletrear calcetines en inglés? Did you get any of that?
Something in English.
I did, and it's gone already. Like a lot of it is gone already.
Okay.
It's so funny. Like I can partially translate as you go, but I cannot retain any of it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say this. There's a phrase in Spanish that kind of means like it is what it is.
Mhm.
And it's eso sí que es. And it's spelled like ESO SIQUEES. Like it's a bunch of different words. Eso sí que es. So the question is like, what did the man say to the other man when he couldn't spell socks in English? And he goes, my friend, it is what it is. But when you say it, it's eso sí que es. Like SOCKS. It's how you spell socks. I don't know. It works. It works if you're multilingual. It doesn't work if you're not.
No, it doesn't. I only remember a few Spanish things. I failed both times I tried to take Spanish class, so I just remember like El Burro Saben que tú, something like that. It's supposed to be like the donkey knows more than you do.
I was like,
Oh.
yeah, like burro or burro, whatever is donkey.
I don't know. I probably say it completely incorrectly because I did fail twice. So. Yeah. Well, that's all we have. I know we had a lot of questions.
It's all right.
They're good. I feel like they were original. I feel like we get a lot of like the same. So it was fun. It's fun to answer some like sort of left field questions.